Um, we were asked to play about 15 minutes of music for you. I hope that's okay. I know we're running a little bit late, so we have 2 or 3 pieces we'd like to play. And normally in these sort of situations where there's only 15 minutes, we like to play some bonbons, some little pieces. I will get to that, but we had one piece that we'd like to play for you that you probably have not heard before. This would be a little bit more meat and potatoes than bonbon, but it's something that I thought would be appropriate because when we're talking about Jewish creativity, the composer that comes to mind, maybe one of the greatest composers ever, but one of the greatest Jewish composers, at least from a Jewish heritage, is Mendelssohn. And there's a piece that is totally new for us that we're just discovering. And it was a piece that was actually only discovered really by the music world since Mendelssohn's death, only maybe in the 60s by Yehudi Menuhin, one of the great prodigies. Now Mendelssohn was probably the greatest prodigy that ever lived as a composer. As far as I'm concerned, he far exceeded Mozart for his age. At 16, Mendelssohn composed the octet, which is still considered maybe one of the greatest pieces of chamber music that's ever been written. And I happen to think Mendelssohn belongs up there with Mozart and Beethoven. And now he's being recognized that way, but for many years after Mendelssohn's death, he was sort of denigrated, for instance, by Wagner, who I mentioned before. He was as sort of a second-rate composer and having inherent weaknesses. And for some reason, he was never put on that pedestal until I think recently now, of course, Mendelssohn's considered one of the greatest. But anyway, this is a piece that we've just started to discover. We thought we would get a chance to play just the first movement of a sonata that was written sort of late in Mendelssohn's life, in his late 20s. Sadly, he died very young. But this is the first movement of the F major sonata, and it lasts about 7 or 8 minutes. But I thought it would be something interesting to play for you. You've probably never heard, and you've probably never seen a pianist play from an iPad either. This is something I've never seen before either. So we're trying this out, this new way of avoiding the page turners. So we'll start with. Sorry. I don't know if she mentioned Sam Haywood, who is. We're about to go on tour in the States, and then again next February, a big tour. And he's a wonderful pianist that we've been playing together for 2 years. He comes from London. short pieces to play for you. This one I've stolen from the piano repertoire. I've made an arrangement of the great C-sharp minor nocturne of Chopin. This incredible instrument that actually that photo, along with Izai and all the other, and Heifetz and all those great photos that my teacher had in his studio, they're are now hanging in my house, in my practice studio. So Huberman looks down. Actually, I have a great photo on my wall of Huberman and Einstein together with the violin, and that's pretty cool. So anyway, we are going to finish with a piece by a great virtuoso of the violin, often called the Chopin of the violin because he was also Polish, around the same time as Chopin, a little bit later, born into a Jewish family. This is Wienia, and this is the Polonaise Brilliant.
Thank you.